Tribal Council last night sucked. It just proves that I'm not safe in the game. I definitely do have qualities to me that might make me a threat, but overall, I think Owen, Natalie, and Grace will be taken up before me, so in that time, I will need to try and find a way to get back in this game. Well, that could have gone a lot better. Yeah, but if we all stick together, we are four, there are four, we have the ability to tie a vote. All we need to do is flip one of them, or all they have to do is flip one of us. It's time for the battle. Yeah, but who would want to flip? I mean, I'm on Natalie's side here. I think it'll be easier to get one of them to flip, as we just need to convince them that Dan is the biggest threat here. So the merge has not gone particularly well for me. I am on the bottom, and I'm a big threat. And honestly, if the next tribal doesn't go my way, I could be going home next, and I don't want that to happen, so I've just got to hope and try and find a way to, get back on top in this game. I reckon out of all my Alliance members that I stand the best chance of winning. I've got good connections with almost everyone here, so that might make me a threat, or that might help me stay around, as people might want to keep me around. Hopefully the deal I have with Daryl is still going strong, and if I'm in trouble, then hopefully he can give me immunity. Well played, Dan. Thanks. Well, we've got a problem. Yep. We're not the majority anymore. So, what do? I mean, we've got to flip somebody. Yeah, any suggestions? You could try and get Grace on board. Yeah, no, I don't think that will work, as Grace, she's very connected to that group. Plus, she flipped on us, and I don't think she'll flip back. She's smarter than that. Anybody else? I have good connections with Owen. Okay, that might work. So I could try and get him to flip. It's not 100% positive. I mean, it's our best shot. So I'm controlling this game, and if there wasn't a threat on my back at the last boot, it definitely one is now, because I played an idol and I'm still here. So I wouldn't be surprised if the entire island is scrambling. So I've got to keep my eyes open. First of all, I need to make sure my alliance is with me, and none of them decide to flip. Second of all, I need to try and find out if somebody from the other alliance is opening their eyes to flip, and then that means it's gold for me, because I'm back in business. And yes, I am a little bit disappointed about Chris's elimination. He did betray me, but he was my ally, and losing him was quite sad. But I need to move on now, and at the moment, as the biggest threat on the island, I believe I need to keep my eyes open. Okay, I'm not just going to stand around and pretend that Dan's not the biggest threat here, and I'm not just going to stand around and let him tell me what to do. I know I could potentially try and get Owen to flip, and that might be a move on my resume, but yet again, I think Dan would take the credit for it, and I don't want that. So I need to keep my eyes open to try and find somebody that I'm willing to work with from that side, and try and get rid of Dan. Because at the moment, if I want to win this game, social skills is not going to be enough, and I need to have a good strategic game down to win this game. And at the moment, Dan stands in my way. It was certainly a shame about Grace's decision to not work with us anymore. Yeah, well, what do we do now? Well, we needed her come in Final 6 and 5 and stuff, when we could have the opportunity to take control. Now that she's not with us anymore, if the Final 4 deal does go along, we could be in trouble. So, what do you propose? We need to go and talk to her. Try and bring her back onto our page and say that I think this is the best. That didn't work last time, yes, but it's our only shot. So I was scared of gaining too much of a strategic threat on my back. Add a challenge threat to my back, because I wanted an individual immunity challenge. Yeah, people are going to be wanting to come for me once Dan gets eliminated, which, if Dan does get eliminated, I might be the next target. And Grace was one of my people I could rely on. She had a good game, and I think she flipped because she didn't think that working with me had anything on her resume at Final 2. So I need to convince her that working with me will help her game at Final 2. Hey Grace. Hey guys. Sorry about flipping. Yeah, that's what we're going to come and talk to you about. We're not really angry because I understand the move personally, but we're just wondering if you're still willing to work with us. The thing is that even if I did work with you guys, I don't think Dan and Daryl would trust me. Doesn't matter. Final weight, a 5-person is a majority. Yeah. Plus, at Final 5, we'd still be a majority. You still have that option. And I do get that you want moves on your resume. And I think this would be one. I don't want the jury to think of me as a flipper though. I don't want to be the one they describe as a fish, flipping that way, flopping that way, and stuff like that. Girl, can we speak alone? Yeah, sure. I've got to talk to you about something, Grace. Okay. I may have told Dan that you and Chris were considering to flip. What? Why? Well, I trusted them more than the others, and I don't really know. I just trusted them more, and that was what was going through my mind at the time. Oh, come on, girl, I thought we were friends. I gave you an opportunity to have a move on your resume, and you turned on me. You put a knife in my back. Yes, I did it because, quite frankly, I didn't trust them, okay? I need you to accept that. I accept it. I just don't know if I can trust you. That's fine. I just need to know that you forgive me. I forgive you. I don't trust you. When you play this game for 39 days, you will burn bridges. It's just bound to happen if you want to win. And I may have burned my closest ally's bridge. And that bridge, that might never be built again. And I regret that. I regret the decision I made. I wanted to come out here and prove people wrong about young people in this game, to say that they can play good games. And at the moment, I'm not making myself look like that. And so coming clean to Grace, yes, it may have been a dumb decision, but I believed it was the right decision to try and gain a bit more trust with her. And maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, but we'll have to wait to see the consequences of the move I made. So I respect the decision that Katie made to tell me, but what she did, that makes me very disappointed. I wanted to play the game with her. I've liked her since day one. And yes, as the game's got along, she's been a little bit hard to play with, but I still was willing to work with her. Now, I'm not quite sure. Man, it's been so long since we made that alliance with Chase on day one. Do you remember it? Yeah, those were the good times, when there wasn't really much pressure on your shoulders. There was 16 people at that stage. Everyone was still really getting to know each other, so strategy hadn't really broken out the window. And then Brandon said, hey, here I am, I'm playing an aggressive game. And then we're like, no, we've shut that down quite quickly. Those were the days. I just feel like we haven't had an intimate conversation. There's been a lot of strategy talk. I feel like I haven't even got to talk to you since the merge started about anything personal. I haven't even asked, how's your family? Yeah, family life's tough as a mum, but we get through it. Yeah, exactly. Survivor certainly is a difficult game. It strips you to your core, makes you think in ways you never think you'd ever think. And yeah, Survivor's a tough game. But the bottom line of the game is that intimate relationships are important. Having good relationships with your fellow castaways is important, because at the end of the day, they will be the ones to vote for you. And if Natalie is on the jury, I'm going to need her vote. Because at the end of the day, I only need 4 votes to win this game. And at the moment, I need 5 votes to get eliminated. I'm nervous, but I don't think my name's out there right now. Are you ready to get to your 3rd individual immunity challenge? Yeah! For today's challenge, you will lie on the ground and hold up one of these blocks. Last person standing wins immunity safe from the vote. Losers Tribal Council, where somebody will be the 9th person voted out of this game. Alright, we'll draw for spots and we'll get started. Okay, everybody is in position and this challenge is on. Everybody seems to be going well right now. You've been going for 5 minutes. We have a little bit of shaking from Grace, a little bit of shaking from Daryl, quite a bit of shaking from Grace. Daryl readjusted. But Grace can't hold on much longer. She is the first person out of this challenge. Everybody else holding on pretty well. And just as I say that, Ken drops. He's out of this challenge. Carol also appears to be having some problems. Can she control it? Carol has kind of got the block back in position. You've been going for 10 minutes. Keep it up. Ooh, Katie and Dan fall back to back. The entire back row has fallen. We're down to 4. They are Daryl, Natalie, Carol, and Owen fighting for immunity. Only one of these 4 can win immunity. Who will it be? Everybody seems to be holding on quite well. You've been going for 30 minutes. I would not say any of this is easy. You've been going for 45 minutes. Congratulations. Oh, and Natalie Forbes. She's out of this challenge. Congratulations to Final 3. You've been going for 1 hour. Carol, unusual to see you to go this long. Hey, I'm just trying to win here, Owen. Good for you. Ooh, it looks like that little bit of conversation distracted Carol. She is the next person out of this challenge, and we're down to Owen and Daryl fighting it out for immunity. We are down to the final 2. Who will win? And literally out of nowhere, Owen falls, meaning Daryl wins immunity and is safe from the vote. Congratulations, Daryl, on winning immunity. Guaranteed spot in the final 7. As for the rest of you, Tribal Council tonight, where somebody will be the 9th person voted after this game and the 2nd member of the jury. It will not be you. Alright, grab your stuff, head back to camp. I'll see you tonight for Tribal Council. Winning immunity. Wow, it's a great feeling. So tonight, I don't really know what's going to happen. I mean, we could just keep it simple. Go for either Owen, Natalie, Carol, Grace. Try and flip one of them, see what happens. But to be honest, I don't know what to do. You know, I want to get rid of Dan, but I don't know if I can trust that side. And if I do want to get rid of Dan, who do I work with? If realistically Dan's gonna go sooner or later. I don't know if that night will be tonight. It might be. We'll just have to wait and see what my mind comes up with. Well done, Daryl. Yeah, look at you, big guy. Thanks, guys. Well, didn't pass out this time. No, you haven't passed out for a while. Congratulations. And you won this time. That's even bigger. Congrats. Alright. Well, I've got to go and get some water. Okay. I'm so happy that Daryl won immunity. It just gives us so much more breathing space. It makes Natalie and Owen vulnerable, 2 people who could have easily won immunity, and it gives us the opportunity to take one of them out. And I believe tonight has to be Natalie. I reckon, is the biggest threat to my game, and yeah, Owen has his reputation as being a physical and very openly social guy, but Natalie is probably the biggest threat to me at the moment. She hasn't had the vote go away, but when she does, it could be quite bad for me. Okay, guys, so who's our target? In my opinion, Natalie or Owen. Preferably Natalie. Yeah, but, you know, Grace and Carol's social game could be quite big. Yeah, and Grace has a couple of things to go along with her if she does make it to the final 2. Yeah, but I just think Natalie at the moment's a much bigger threat. Well, we could try and get rid of Owen. What do you mean? Well, Owen to me is quite a physical threat, and if he stays around at Final 5, if we take him to Final 5, which is possible with his physical prowess, and he wins the immunity challenge, we'll have to turn on each other. Yeah, I get that, but Natalie's got to go. Why? As I said, Natalie, biggest threat. Physical, strategic, social. She's got all the aspects for a great winner. Okay. Well, Natalie it is then. So, I don't want to really vote out Owen. I just said it because I want to use Natalie. I think Natalie's the best option I've got to take out Dan because I think she's on board with it. I think she'll be on board with it. But at the same time, maybe keeping Dan is a good thing because keeping Dan does have its strengths. I mean, Dan's not going to be really a physical threat to me come the time I have to beat him. And plus, I think he'll burn some bridges as well. You know, he's not a villain, but he'll burn some bridges getting his way to the top. And all I have to do is beat him at final immunity and vote him out. You know, send him on the jury. But, you know, waiting that long without a move could be quite bad. And so at the same time, getting rid of him now that would be a big move. Okay guys, any names? I mean, Dan. Yeah, definitely. Probably, definitely Dan. Right, yeah. I think that's pretty cut and clean, but 4v4, and we need to try and flip somebody. Well, maybe Ken or Katie? Well, Katie probably won't. I said I don't trust her, and I think I can't trust her, so makes sense. I don't think Ken will flip. I think Ken's willing to work with Dan. I could get Daryl. What do you mean? Well, I've got quite good connections with Daryl. I might have a bit of a target on my back. I mean, I did quite well in the immunity challenge, plus my social threat is still there. It's still looming around. Otherwise, I might be hidden behind Natalie and Owen, which is fine. You know, maybe hiding under the radar isn't a stupid thing. You know, I don't want to hide too far under the radar, but hiding under the radar hopefully isn't a stupid thing because it allows me to get through the game relatively hidden and then just at final two, if I'm there, just go pow, like bang, run into the game with my social threat, and it just teaches them that they should not take a social game for granted. Hey Natalie, can we talk? Sure. Okay, we're halfway through the game. 8 people left, 6 eliminations to go. It's crunch time. What do you mean? Dan, he's a big threat. Okay, I'll admit it. You're kind of the person we want to try and get to flip. Will you flip? I'm willing to get rid of Dan, but I need to make sure that I can trust you and that you won't betray me. And in order for me to gain your trust, there might need to be a bit of a sacrifice. What do you mean? I'm getting rid of my closest ally. I need you to get rid of yours. So, Carol, Owen, Grace, whatever. Preferably not Owen. I've got kind of a deal with him, but if Carol's your closest ally, yes, I like Carol, like a lot, and I will respect if you don't want to get rid of her. I understand that. This is a big risk. I know it's a big risk, and I understand it might sound crazy, but in order for me to trust you to get rid of Dan, I need you to consider getting rid of Carol. What, tonight? Whenever. You know, if it's preferably tonight or the next tribal. Dan wants to go for you. If you choose tonight, I can tell you, hey, I can tell Dan that you've decided to flip and that you've considered voting out Carol. I'll think about it. I remember I said I wanted to play a villainous game. That's kind of gone out the window. I'm going to change that to playing a risky game. A risky game? Do I want to play a risky game? Kind of, but is it the best? I've got a decision to make tonight. To go along with Daryl's deal. Get rid of my closest ally tonight, with my best friends in this game, and Carol put her on the jury, which then makes me vulnerable as I'm down an ally and they could take me out. Or I could stick with a plan. Either tie the vote, maybe get someone to flip and revote, maybe Grace is able to get Daryl to flip before tonight's tribal, and then boom, Dan goes home. Simple as that. Either way, Dan's got to go home. Whatever move I make, Dan's got to go home. If Dan doesn't go home and I go home instead, it means I've made a mistake. The problem I have with not doing this move is, what if they don't flip? What if we go down to rocks? What if I draw a bad rock and I go home? What happens if one of my allies gets taken out? What if Dan doesn't go home? And there's just so many what ifs if I don't make this move, if I don't take this risk. If I do take this risk, I could go home as well. If I don't take this risk, I will have nothing on my resume at Fun 2. But if I do take this risk, I might not be at Fun 2. I need to balance risk versus reward here. Give it to me straight, Daryl. Did you get somebody? I got Natalie. What? Buddy. Natalie's the person we're trying to vote off. Could you not get Owen? No. Carol and Grace didn't want to flip either. Natalie was the only one who was up for it. So what, we get rid of Owen? No, she only agreed to one name. Carol. That's odd. So you're telling me I have to put faith in the person I want to get rid of? Yep. I said, this is what's going to happen, right? If you work with us, promise you final 5. Well, if you don't, you're going home now. And she said, what do I have to do? And we said, well, Owen's right. Owen's the person we want to get rid of right now. And she said, no. I prefer to get rid of Carol because of her social threat. Her social threat is something to be admired and is quite dangerous. That's what she said to me. Can I talk to her? Yeah, if you want. I've got to play this cool. You know, I'm an undercover agent right now. I can't say to Dan that, yeah, me and Natalie have got a plan, we're going to vote you out, but we need you to trust us before we can do that. I can't just tell him that. Yes, lying is not in my nature, but right now, if I want to win this game, that's what I've got to do. I've got to lie. If Natalie has decided that, yes, Carol's going to go, and she's able to convince Dan to vote for Carol, that will be Dan's mistake. If Dan says no, can't trust her, I'd rather tie the vote, send it to rocks perhaps. I might have to flip. I could just flip, but if I flip, it leaves me vulnerable to Natalie. It leaves me without an ally. It gets rid of Ken, Katie, and then possibly me. I need her to take one for the team, because I want to take one for the team as well. It is weird, but honestly, this is the way I want to do the move. I think it's the best way that it happens. I've heard rumors that you are willing to flip on your alliance to help us. Yes, that would be true. Why have you come clean? It has a nice ring, doesn't it? The two most dangerous people in this game working together. You know, that could be dangerous. But I don't believe it. You come in here to ask if somebody who clearly wants to flip is willing to flip. Yes, I'm obviously willing to flip, you idiot. Hey. It's not the way to talk to me. Sorry. I am willing to flip. At the moment, I think it's my best move. Why Carol? Why not like Owen or Grace, who clearly are bigger threats? I just think you cannot overlook Carol's social game. If you get to the final 2, which, you know, might not happen, but if it does, you'll lose to her. Or we'll lose to her, or somebody will. She is dangerous. So you're willing to flip? Yes. Okay. Tribal Council comes up. I have no idea what's going to happen again. Again, for the 3rd time in a row. This is just nuts. This merge could not have gone any more unpredictable, I don't think. I've got options. I can trust Natalie. Change the vote to Carol. Carol goes home 5-3. or I don't trust her. I say, Daryl, if she's gonna vote Carol, that's good, right? The four of us, we vote her out. And honestly, that's the way I'm pointing, but I like the sound of the two most dangerous people working in the game because she's not gonna doubt me. I'm not gonna doubt her because we know the game better than anybody, I think. I'm not taking that away from other people. I think they've got strategic ability, but if the two most dangerous people keep going after each other's throats, there'll be other people like Owens and your Katies and your Kens to come in and clean up shop. And I don't want that. So it might be beneficial to vote Carol out and have Nestle in on this alliance deal. And then if I don't like the way it's going and I have vote Carol out, I've still got the numbers and I could always take her out again. Whatever happens, I'll have power tonight. And I like power. Because at the end of the day, power is what's gonna get me to win the game. Welcome, Falatau, to Tribal Council. First things first, we'll bring in the member of our jury, Chris. Voted out at last night's Tribal Council. Daryl, how does it feel to win the immunity challenge? Great. This is great. I passed out the first one, didn't do so well in the second one, and this one, I win it. Great. I am feeling happy. So, Katie, how has the game been going for you? It's been going pretty well. You know, a lot of these people here would agree that, you know, as the game's got along, it's either got better or worse, and at the merge, you show sign of weakness, no one's gonna want to vote you out, which is not what you want. If you've got a target on your back, that means you're probably doing something right. Do you believe you have a target on your back? We'll see. So Carol, what do you think is the most important aspect of this game? I honestly believe it's your connections, Jeff. If you have good connections, it doesn't matter how well you played. If you get to the final two and over half the jury likes you, hopefully they'll vote for you, which means you'll win. Ken, do you agree with Carol's theory? Yeah, I think it's feasible, but I think you have to have some aspect of gameplay behind your back, whether you were good in the pre-merge or post-merge. Ideally it doesn't matter. If you have a move to your name or had some physical strategic aspect to your name, I think your chances of winning will increase. Okay, with that, it is time to vote. Grace, you'll start us off. Dan, I'm sorry, but you're too dominant for me to feel safe in this game. I'll tally the votes. Person with the most votes must leave the Tribal Council area immediately. I'll read the votes. First vote, Dan. Second vote, Dan. That's 2 votes Dan, no votes anybody else, 6 votes left. Third vote, Dan. That's 3 votes Dan. Fourth vote, Carol. That's 1 vote Carol. Fifth vote, Carol. That's 2 votes Carol, 3 votes Dan, 3 votes left. Sixth vote, Carol. We are tied. 3 votes Carol, 3 votes Dan, 2 votes left. Seventh vote, Carol. That's 4 votes Carol, 3 votes Dan. Eighth vote. And the 9th person voted out for this game and the second member of the jury, Carol. Carol, that's 5. That's enough for tonight. I'll need you to bring me your torch. Carol, the tribe has spoken. It's time for you to go. Well, congratulations to the 7 of you. You are making it deeper into this game. If tonight's vote can teach us anything, is that you can never feel safe in this game. Grab your torches, head back to camp. Good night. Oh, wowee. That was surprising. I did not expect that at all. The most surprising thing about this is the strategic thinking behind it. I mean, I wasn't like the most physical or strategic player here. I knew I had a bit of a social game. I mean, some people trusted me, but I don't see that as a reason to vote me out over, say, Natalie or Owen. That's what surprises me the most, and I really didn't really get a big chance to play. I had fun. This game was lots of fun, and I just hope that my children and my husband can be proud of me when I get back home to them, and that they can understand that I really did try my best